Good morning and welcome again to the 2025 Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor's Small Business Academy. It is now my pleasure to open the Marketing Strategies 9 a.m. session and to introduce Vanessa Sancha with U.S. Bank, Assistant Vice President and Business Access Advisor. Vanessa will introduce our session and our speaker.
Thanks, Michael. I'm having a little trouble with my camera. I don't know if you guys can see me. Let me try to click on this link you sent me. It's not working. But I'm just gonna kind of get started and then try to fix it in the back end once we get running. So good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. We're about to dive into a topic that's probably like really crucial for businesses looking to grow and thrive, right? Marketing strategies. So I couldn't be more excited to have Gina here with us today. She's very knowledgeable and she has a wealth of experience, and she's going to be sharing a lot of insights here with us today. So let's get ready to learn, be inspired, and take away some actionable strategies that can really make an impact. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about our speaker today. So Gina Stevens is a nonprofit executive, entrepreneur, and community leader with over 25 years of experience in business development and economic empowerment. She has dedicated her career to creating inclusive spaces where minority entrepreneurs can thrive. Gina is the founder and executive director of Rock County Jumpstart, an initiative focused on providing education, mentorship, and resources to Black and Latino business owners. It's located in Rock County, Wisconsin region. Throughout her career, Gina has been recognized for her leadership and impact, receiving honors such as the NAACP Community Service Award, YWCA Woman of Distinction, and being named one of Madison's 365 most influential Black leaders. Her work with entrepreneurs emphasizes the financial readiness, STEM education, and community building, fostering economic resilience and opportunity. In addition to leading Rock County Jumpstart, Gina is a passionate advocate for integrating technology and innovation into small business development. She often speaks about leadership, economic development, and how AI can be leveraged to close equity gaps in businesses. Gina's commitment to service is driven by her belief in building sustainable legacies and empowering others to succeed. Her work not only supports entrepreneurs, but also strengthens communities by promoting equity, innovation, and shared prosperity. So thank you so much, Gina, for being here with us and sharing your knowledge. I will leave it to you to get us started to talk a little bit more about marketing.
Thank you, Vanessa, and thank you everyone for being here. Thank you very much to WEDC for this amazing event that's been going on for quite a while. And I am very grateful to be a part of this event. Anybody who was here for the session right before this session, Jen did an amazing job talking about AI. And I feel like this is a follow-up session to that. We're going to talk a lot about some of the things that she talked about with AI. I am a huge fan of AI. So there's going to be a lot of the things that she talked about in this session. So I'm going to kind of gloss over that because my session is really about an actionable marketing strategy that you can integrate ChatGPT and AI into that strategy, use a lot of tools in that strategy. And then once you're done with ChatGPT, using ChatGPT, and you've created a great marketing strategy using AI. Now, one of the things that we do at Rock County Jumpstart is we work with our business owners. We provide them with technical assistance, and we work with them on building marketing plans, building their business plan, working with them on even our nonprofit folks on building, using AI to write grant proposals, that kind of thing. So we've really kind of dived into really embracing AI and ChatGPT. So a lot of the things we're doing now is really helping them learn how to use ChatGPT and AI to do a ton of things, even building out their financial plans. What does their financial model look like? So we're really using it for a lot of things. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here on, and what we're going to do is I'm really going to kind of fly through this, because in the end, I'm going to help you, show you how to build out an actual marketing strategy that's been powered by AI. So here we go. So the learning objectives is learning your key marketing steps and discovering how ChatGPT can support you each step of the way. And again, ultimately, when we're done here, I'm going to show you how we've actually used ChatGPT to build out a full marketing strategy. Typically, when I do sessions, I like for people to walk out. It's usually very hands-on, and people walk out with a full marketing strategy, or they've walked out with a full grant proposal, or they've walked out with a full financial plan. They walked out with a full funding strategy in their hand when they leave. So one of the things you've probably talked about when you were in the last session was defining your audience. So who are you trying to reach? What problems do they have? And where do they spend their time online? And then what we're going to do is we're going to use ChatGPT, and we're going to use some prompts to actually help you describe your ideal customer, and then use ChatGPT to generate those demographics and their motivations and their pain points. And again, if you were in the session with Jen, you probably saw Jen kind of go through this stuff. If you weren't in the session with Jen, we're going to fly through this. But when we get to the part where we're building out the strategy, I'm going to hop on to ChatGPT, and then we're going to go through some of this stuff. So to create a customer persona, we're going to talk about what you include, which is the name, age, and the location, their goals, challenges, and their interest. And then using ChatGPT, we're going to feed it a prompt. And what is a prompt? The prompt is basically what you ask it. You're going to ask it a question to tell it what you want it to give you, right? So the prompt is create a customer persona for. And this is a very basic, simple prompt. Typically with my prompts, I'm really telling it a lot of things. And sometimes my prompt can be a paragraph long. So you're going to be very detailed. But for the purposes of this, for those of you who are new, a prompt can be a simple question like create a customer persona for a certain audience. And then ChatGPT gives you an output of a detailed persona. So the more information you give it, the better your answer is going to be. So I did a detailed customer persona, and I asked it to give me a customer persona for, and this just came up with a name. And this was just for the purposes of this exercise. So I asked for a detailed customer persona, and this is what it gave me. It said my person was Emily Rodriguez, and it said her name, she's 29 years old, female, Latina. I'm in Rock County, so I use ChatGPT so much, it knows I'm in Rock County. So, and it knows the demographics that I work with. So you kind of see that because I use ChatGPT so much, it just assumed that my customer was a Latina who's 29 years old in Janesville. Okay, so it kind of knows the demographic of people I already work with. 29-year-old female Latina in Janesville, Wisconsin, single, bachelor's degree in communications, remote marketing specialist, works from home 3 to 4 days a week, likes to work in a coffee shop or a change of scenery. This is for a coffee shop. So I kind of created a bakery is what I created as my business. So I told it I had a business, it was a bakery. So it gave me a customer persona for my bakery. And it said this person enjoys trying new local food spots and supporting small businesses. Now, based on the demographic of people who that ChatGPT already knows the persona of people who spend time on Instagram and TikTok, it probably decided that this person was 29 years old, based on the fact that ChatGPT already knows the age and the demographic of people who spend their time on Instagram and TikTok. So it put on here that this person most likely spends their time on Instagram and TikTok and shares food and coffee pictures on TikTok. Value sustainability, typically that age group is all about sustainability, quality ingredients, and locally sourced products, right? So it gave me a detailed customer persona. It also told me, and this is just a very small output, the detailed customer persona was actually very, very long, but I only grabbed a little bit of it. Goals and aspirations, finds a cozy, welcoming coffee shop that feels like a second home, builds relationships with local business owners. So it really gave me a really good idea. It says that she wants to support women and minority-owned businesses. So it really gave me a very good idea of the persona of this person. Said this person would be frustrated by chain coffee shops that feel impersonal, seeks healthier, fresher alternatives to processed baked goods, gets bored with repetitive menus. So these are the things you want to think about as it gives you that customer persona. And like I said, the customer persona was really, really, really long. It's going to give you a lot of information as you start to build out your customer persona. Now, what I want you, I'm going to go back. Now, what I want you to think about again, and if you were in Jen's session, that as you're building out the customer persona for your business, now this is about your business, you might want to look at whether this information is actually accurate for your business, because you probably already have your business up and running. Is this actually true about your business, right? Are these things that you actually have been seeing already as it relates to the customer for your business? You might say, wow, this is actually spot on. One of the things that I notice when we're working with our business owners at Rock County Jumpstart is when we're doing this exercise, when they're in a workshop with us, they're like, wow, this is actually spot on. I'm surprised, or I didn't realize that. That's quite interesting. You know, now that I think about it, that's actually right. I have noticed that. Now with a new business owner, somebody who's just starting, they might not know this. They're thinking about it. They're not quite sure if that's their detail, if that's their customer persona. So I'm telling them that, you know, to think about it. They might want to be, you know, careful about what ChatGPT is giving them, because it might not be true. You know, that might not be true of Janesville. That might not be true of Beloit. They have to think about their local community, and is it actually true of their local community? So when you develop your content should solve problems, answer questions, entertain, or educate. So one of the things, is your content solving a problem? Is it answering questions? Is it entertaining or educating, or is it doing all three, right? So you want to be thinking about that when you develop your content. Then, as you think about that, use ChatGPT and give it a prompt. So you want to say, give me 10 content ideas for my coffee shop. And you can say, give me 10 content ideas that solve a problem, or give me 10 content ideas for my coffee shop that answers these questions, or give me 10 content ideas for my coffee shop that entertain or educate. Or you can use the prompt that said, and then once you do that, you can say, now give me a blog outline. So some of you were in, again, Jen's session before this, and you've seen her do some of these things. So I'm going to kind of, again, fly through this, because what I really want to do is get to the strategy part of creating an actual action plan that's going to create the full marketing strategy for you. So you have that, and you'll be able to see how we build that out for our business owners, so that they have that in their hand and they can walk away. Because a lot of times when the business owners come to us, they're brand new. Most of our business owners are brand new. They don't understand anything about personas. They don't understand anything about, you know, and they can't afford to hire anybody. Typically, the business owners who we work with, they can't afford to hire anybody. They're looking for as many free tools as possible, and they just want something in their hand that they can walk away with and they can work on themselves. And so if they can have something on paper, that's a strategy that they can sit in front of them, and they can have, and they can say, okay, this is what I'm going to do week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. That's what our job is. Okay, so samples of some content ideas. So once we do that, we have them do, okay, so now let's ask ChatGPT to give you 10 content ideas that ask some questions, 10 content ideas that entertain, or 10 content ideas that do this. This is what they come up with. These are some examples of what I put in. Give me 10 content ideas about this bakery. So it gave me some samples of some content ideas. So one of them was Meet the Maker series. And then it said, here's some ideas of what you can do. Short posts or videos introducing your baristas, your bakers, or your founders and their favorite drinks or baked goods. Then it said maybe you can do the behind the scenes baking. A time lapse or reels showing how a popular pastry is made. I really like that one. We've done something like that with our accelerator graduates, where we've done time lapse or reels. And these are very simple. You take your phone, you record it on your phone, really low cost. record it on your phone, and then do a time lapse, and then you put a little music behind it, and you're done. Very simple. Customer spotlights, seasonal drink and pastry launches, what's brewing this week posts. So then once we did that, we asked for a blog outline. So then we said, give me a blog outline. So it'll literally give you a blog outline, which is those of you who, if you were in Jen's session before, you saw that she did a blog outline. So you can do blog outlines. I always suggest you do the blog outline first. And then what I also do is I have our business owners do, hey, while you're doing that, tell it to give you 20 blog outlines. Don't just say, give me a blog outline. Tell it to give you 20 blog outlines. Go ahead and tell it to give you 50 if you want. Take those blog outlines, save them in a Google Drive document, and you've got your 20, 50 blog outlines for the next 3 months. Because it's done, you don't have to think about it later. You have those blog outlines. Now, when you have time, you can go back and actually have ChatGPT give you a draft of the blog, and then you can just edit it from there, and now you have your blogs. And so you're saving yourself a lot of time because now you can just go ahead and do that, and now you've got your blog outlines done. So this is one of the samples of the blog outlines that it did for us, and I just created that so we would have that. So here's the remainder of the blog outline. So it did the outline, it did the introduction, it did the different paragraphs, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, 4, and 5. And then one of the things that if you were in Jen's session, it said, when it's done, because I use ChatGPT a lot, it's gotten to the point where it started to ask me follow-up questions. Would you like me to turn this into a full blog post draft or just a tone? Now, it knows my tone. It knows how I speak. It knows to keep things very simple, very laid back. I don't really like overly corporate speech, or I don't like academia language. I don't speak that way. So it will and it knows, because often I'll ask it, I've started asking it to tone down the language. So since I started asking it to do that early on, now it will actually ask me, do I want it to adjust the tone for a specific audience, or do I want it to be casual, professional, or fun? So the more you use it, the more it will start asking you questions. Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to do that? And oh, by the way, my ChatGPT, her name is Georgia. So then it'll talk about, I want to talk a little bit about the types of content. So you have main types of contents. You have the blog posts, which drive traffic. You have videos that boost engagement. You have social media, which is daily visibility. Emails. I'm a huge fan of email. I know a lot of people struggle with how to use good emails. However, I'm going to like don't have any you don't have any examples of good emails the day it was born, and I'll continue it. But ChatGPT is really good for helping you learn how to create great email marketing campaigns, how to write great emails, how to craft great subject lines, how to what to write in your emails, that kind of thing. So I would suggest, if you're not using ChatGPT to help you with your email marketing, that you do learn how to use ChatGPT for email marketing. Oh, too far ahead. Okay, so then your prompt, write a 300-word blog. You can do blogging, you can write Facebook posts, and my favorite is video. There's a new tool in ChatGPT called Sora, S-O-R-A. Now, Sora is a part, for now, of the paid version of ChatGPT. I do use the paid version of ChatGPT. I have an enterprise version for me and my staff, so we have access to Sora. That's S-O-R-A. You can do video in Sora. It is amazing. So you can write video scripts using ChatGPT, take the video script, pop it over to Sora, and it'll help you write some great, it'll help you create some great videos. And I do have a sample of a 60-second video script. So you can say, write a 60-second video script on my bakery, here's what we're doing, I want to do this, and I'll show you a video script. So the 60-second video script. Why Bake and Brew is your new favorite spot. I told ChatGPT to write this video script. And so here it is, the opening shot outside of a Bake and Brew, the sign is visible, narrator or on-screen text. So it literally wrote the video script. There's things that you would have to go in here and change, but then it creates the video script for you, which is amazing because what we do with our accelerator, we have 2 accelerator pitches a year, and now we're having a 3rd one. As a part of our accelerator, our business owners have to do a 90-second video, and we were writing those video scripts ourselves. The business owners were writing them themselves pre-ChatGPT. Now the business owners can actually have ChatGPT write the scripts, and they don't have to figure out the length. They can just say write the 90 seconds. It's 90 seconds. Now they can just say write the 90-second video script, and then it can help them do that now. And they can actually use ChatGPT, Sora, to actually help them develop the video. So then this is the full 60 seconds. So it's this slide and this slide. And then it says, would you like the tone to be more casual, playful, or upscale? Or want this adjusted for a specific platform, like shorter for TikTok? So it even knows that TikTok requires shorter videos. So again, that's what I really like about ChatGPT, is it knows that this would need to be shorter, most likely for TikTok. For engagement purposes, it would probably most likely need to be shorter. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about storytelling. Storytelling builds trust. So I'm not sure how many of you understand what storytelling is. You probably know a little bit about storytelling, but why do stories matter? People remember stories more than facts. Now, I don't want to make it sound like, because that sounds kind of weird when you say people remember stories more than facts, but stories really get to the heart of folks. We remember stories more than you giving them percentages and numbers. Maybe I should have put it that way. You can tell people percentages and numbers all you want, but when you tell a story, it really gets to the heart. It really speaks to people's hearts, and it helps build connection and trust. So what you want to do with using ChatGPT, you can have ChatGPT help you write a brand story for people who visit your coffee shop, right? So you can actually tell ChatGPT to help you write a story for your coffee shop, and it will actually help you write that story. And again, it will ask you things like, do you want me to make this more soulful? I've had it ask me things like that. Do you want to make it more personable? Do you want me to make it more? And it will tell you that. But you have to use ChatGPT and let it get to know you in order for it to feel more personable. So in order for storytelling to work, in order for ChatGPT to do storytelling well for your business and for you, you have to actually use it a lot, and let it get to know you and who you are and how you speak and who you as a person, in order for it to do storytelling well, if that makes sense, because it needs to know the person. And I know it sounds weird to say that a machine needs to get to know the person in order to be able to tell storytelling well, but it really does. Mine really knows me very well, to the point where I will take something that has happened in the news that is not necessarily pleasing to me, and I will take it and I will put the article into ChatGPT, and I will say, based on what you know about me, how do you think I would feel about this? How do you think I would respond to this? And it would say, well, based on what I know about you, as someone who's really into social justice and economic equity, and believing that people should have access to resources, this is how I think you would respond to this. And it's always spot on because it knows me. So prompt, you can use another prompt. Give me 5 catchy headlines for this story, and then you can have it build a story from there. So now we're going to get to create an action plan. Why a plan matters. Avoid wasting time. Definitely you can avoid wasting time. Or I should say, save yourself time. And you can stay consistent. Using ChatGPT, here's what I did. I created a 4-week marketing plan for the coffee shop. And then I suggested 3 posts per week for the customers of the coffee shop. So then I created the action plan. This was the 4-week action plan. I'm just going to run through this because I want to hop to ChatGPT and then build out a full strategy. So this is the 4-week marketing plan for the Bacon Brew coffee shop. So the goal was to increase local awareness, grow social media following, and drive in-store visits. And I told it to use the platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, email, newsletter. So that's what I wanted it to do. Create this plan and use Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and email newsletter. So it gave me week 1, focus on visibility, post 4 times on Instagram, and it literally, this was the plan it gave me. So here's where the strategy comes in. We've gone through, I've fed it all this stuff. I talked about the customer persona. I talked about storytelling. We talked about all these things. What's the customer persona? What are their needs? What are all these things? I had to go through all that stuff first. Blog posts, all this stuff. So I started out with all of that. We built up to, now we're going to talk about that 4-week strategy. Because we know about the customer persona, we know about all these other things. Now let's build a strategy based on that. So we're talking about, and I always say action plans, because a lot of times people will build a strategy or a marketing campaign or build it out, but what's the action? So you'll see that there's an action in here. You got the content, but what's the action? Launch the giveaway. And then what's the email newsletter? Send an introduction email. So there's always going to be an action in here. Week 2, what's the content? What's the action, right? So you've got Instagram, you got your content, you got your action, you got your email newsletter for week 2. Week 3 is drive in-store traffic, Instagram, Facebook, your content, your action, your email newsletter. So these are all things that when the business owner builds this out, they know exactly what they're supposed to do week 1, exactly what they're supposed to do on week 2, exactly what they're supposed to do week 3. And this was all AI powered, exactly what they're supposed to do. Week 3, now they're driving in-store traffic. Instagram and Facebook, what's their story content? Countdown sticker, 3 days until our new pastry drops. Show the baking process. How are you going to show the baking process? You could do a photo or video. You could do a blog post, action item, limited time promo, buy 1 coffee, get a free cookie on Wednesday, email newsletter, announce a new item, and invite subscribers. Literally an action. Then week 4, celebrate and retain. Instagram, Facebook, what's your content? What's your action? What's in your email newsletter? So you've got an email going out, 1 email newsletter a week, an action item, and a post on Facebook. This is your strategy. This is all AI powered. I'm a big fan of, I'm a big fan of what is the plan? What are you doing? Is it written down? Is it in your hand? Do you have it? Okay, so try to include hashtags. It'll remind you of that. This is what AI said. Try to use hashtags. Then it says, use Canva or templates to keep visuals polished. Now, what I like about it too, it said, would you like this turned into a Canva content calendar? Or do you need captions written for any post? So again, the more I use this, it'll always ask me questions. Would you like this turned into a Canva content calendar or need captions written? Sometimes it'll say, do you want, if there's an event, if there was an event in here somewhere, it would say, do you want me to create a flyer for you? If this had mentioned an event, it would say, do you want me to create flyers? If this had mentioned a workshop, it would have said, do you want me to create a PowerPoint presentation or a slide deck? If there was anything in here mentioning any of that, it would have asked to create a slide deck. It would have asked to create flyers for you. It would have done all that. And then I would have just said, yes, 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 and click, and it would have created it for me automatically. So now I want to hop to my okay. So, Michael, can you tell me if everyone can see my ChatGPT screen?
Yes, Gina, you are good to go with the screen.
Okay, Awesome. And I'm good on time. Okay, so I have put in here that action plan that I just showed you, and I'm getting ready to upload it in here. And I said, now that that's the action plan. And now I said I want to develop a 6-month marketing strategy from this action plan. So what you see is you can upload documents in here. And I said, I want to develop a 6-month marketing strategy from this action plan. And I'm going to tell it to include for each week, and include action items for each week. So it's just churning and churning and churning, and it's literally creating a 6-month action plan. Month 4. And we're in month 6. Okay. Now, it's done the action plan, right? So it says month 1 is going to be about visibility and awareness. Month 2 is going to be about engagement in community. Month 3, in-store traffic and promotions. Month 4, customer retention and loyalty. Month 5, innovation and seasonal campaigns. And month 6, reflection and growth planning. And then it comes down here, and then it gives me this. But you know, I'm not really happy with it. Just gives me this stuff. It just kind of does this week 1, week 2, week 3. So what I want to do now, typically what I would do is I would just copy and paste this first into my Word document, into a Google Drive document, so I have it. Here's the thing. I want to back up and say this. What I want to make sure you do, if you're brand new and you've never used ChatGPT before, I encourage you to sign up. Make sure you have an account. Because if you don't have an account and you start working in ChatGPT, you close it and you come back, all of this is going to be gone. All the work that you do, it's going to be gone. It won't save it. So if I do this and I don't have an account and I come back, this is all gone. Okay, but if you come back, it's a conversation. This is a conversation. So I could come back to this a year from now and it will still be here. And I could just pick up the conversation where I left off. So I'm not going to copy and paste it into a Google Drive document right now because I'm just going to keep working with it. But I usually copy and paste it into a Google Drive document so I have a clean version of this, because I'm going to start playing with it and it's going to start looking all weird at some point. But I'm just, for the purposes of this exercise, I'm going to show you something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building out month 1. So I'm going to say, build out week 1 for me. Give me ideas, build out a campaign for week 1. That's what I'm going to tell it. So I'm going to come down here. It's hop me over here. Build out a full campaign for month 1, week 1. So month 1, week 1, full campaign. It's building it out for me. So month 1, week 1, full campaign visibility launch for Baker Brew. So this is going to start to get really long because remember, it's 6 months. Okay, so it's starting to build it out for me because I told it, it just gave me this really generic 6 months, but it didn't fully build it out. So then what you can start doing is going back and saying, okay, build out month 1, week 1. Now build out month 1, week 2. So you don't have to do this on the same day. You can just take it, put it in a Google Drive document and go back and say, okay, now I need month 1, week 2. Or, one day you have time, you can go ahead and build out all of them. Or, you can build out the first, month in one day, then the next month, build out the next month. So you can see where you literally are building out the full strategy. And this is one of the things we work on is how do you go in? Now let's see this. So I'm here and maybe what I want to do is say, okay, I like day 1, Monday, but give me some ideas. Then you can ask it to actually give me 4 more ideas. So here, maybe I like post group photo of Bacon Brew team with a caption. And then I can say, give me some more ideas about day 1. So that's why I say take it, make a clean copy because then it's going to start. It's going to keep building it out. So now it's giving me more post ideas for day 1. It's just going to keep building and building and building. Because originally it only gave me 1 post idea. Now it's giving me 5 post ideas. So it just keeps building and building and building. And this is what I do. I look and I'm like, okay, well, can I have more? You only gave me 1. So I like the daily stories, but okay, give me more daily stories. And it just builds on. So it kept the post. So it kept the 5 posts, and now it's giving me more daily stories. So you can do this with all of them. Okay, give me more giveaway lunch ideas. Okay, give me more in-store promotion ideas. So you can continue to build this out, even though you started with this, and it gave you the 6-month marketing plan that you can download over here as a document. So you started with this, and now you're building out the months. So I am going to go back over here and stop screen share. Are there any questions that anybody has? I'm going to stop here for questions if anybody has any.
Hi, Gina.
Mike.
We have a question. Is it possible to receive a copy of your slides?
Absolutely. You folks already have one, so if you want to send it to them, that's fine.
And then another question. How does one purchase ChatGPT. I'll read the whole question. How do I purchase one of these ChatGPT? And then if you could talk about the different experience you have. Thank
you. ChatGPT is free, but I always suggest to the business owners that they pay for it, because I use it a lot. I'm on it and I'm using it a lot. And at some point, it will tell you that you've used it a certain amount, and that you have to wait like an hour to come back if you're not using the premium version. So you're gonna start going down a rabbit hole once you start using it and seeing the power of it. You're gonna go down a rabbit hole because you're gonna really like it, and you're gonna hate the fact that you have to wait to come back, because you'll probably be in the middle of a project or something. Especially if you're gonna be building out your marketing strategy there, you're gonna probably get to the point where you really like it and you really like what you're doing, and then it's gonna say wait and come back in an hour. Or you're gonna really like some of the additional tools that are there that you only have access to if you're a premium member. But again, it's free. However, if you're gonna be using it for your business, I do suggest paying the $20 for the premium version. It's $20 a month. Oh, and the other question was some of my experiences?
Yes, if you could add a little more of that in your answer, that would be very helpful.
My personal experiences? Okay, personally, my experience has been, when I first heard about ChatGPT, I was like, I am absolutely not touching ChatGPT. Absolutely not. And one of the people I was talking to was like, my job as a city manager is going to be gone. I'm going to lose my job. I was like, absolutely not. And I'm never going to use it. But now I am a huge fan of ChatGPT. People say it's cheating. One of the business owners who we work with was like, ChatGPT is cheating. I was like, absolutely not, because you have to know what you're doing. You have to know your business. You have to know, there are things that you have to know that whether it's giving you the right information to begin with. And then there's things you just have to know how to work with it. And I've had some great experiences using it myself with just helping me get my job done. Rock Island Jumpstart is a very small organization. We're 1.5 staff. And there are things that as founder and executive director, I'm really not supposed to be doing. There's things that I have to be doing. I can't be here at my desk. So it's helped me do a lot of my work. It's helped me do a lot of the administrative stuff and get it done so I can get out and do the things that I really should be doing as the founder and executive director. So it's really saved me a lot of time. And full disclosure, I have to do a lot of speeches. And a lot of times I forget until the night before that I have to write a speech. And because ChatGPT knows my voice, I can say I'm going to be at this event, and here's what the event is about. Here's the theme, and I need a speech, and it'll write my speech. And of course, I have to go through and edit it, but it does my speech writing for me. I have no qualms about that. Lots of people have speech writers. It's my speech writer. It does a lot of things for me. So now, as far as my experiences with helping, I've seen our business, once I've gotten our business owners to use it, they're power. We've got 2 power users who are actually speaking at the Academy, who are going to be on a panel of this Academy later today. We've got a lot of our business owners who are in wow of it. They're just using it for product development now. We've got a lot of our business owners who have service businesses that are now using it for product development, who are just doing amazing things with it because they're just sold. So that's my experience with ChatGPT. So on a personal and professional level, that's my experience with it.
Thank you, Gina. Another question for you from the audience. Do you feel that working with ChatGPT regularly helps you build skills, critical thinking, or clarity, or any skills?
Yes, absolutely. I see ChatGPT as a learning tool, definitely. So I've seen where even for myself, as I'm using it, I'm like, I didn't know that. Like, explain this to me. I'll take documents that are in legalese or documents that are heavy on the side of academic language, and I feed it to ChatGPT and say, analyze this and explain it to me in plain language, use bullet points. And then I read it and I'm like, oh, okay, now I understand what that is. So, and then as I'm working on something and I read it, I'm like, okay, I understand that better. I see it as helps me learn more as far as my critical thinking skills. It challenges me as far as, do you want me to do this? And how about this? And it'll actually help me be able to connect various things together so that I can see it in a different way. A lot of times when I'm in class with our business owners, when we're working on things, they'll say, oh, I didn't even think of that. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, I do see it as sharpening your skills, both as far as like teaching you things you did not know before, and also helping you with your critical thinking skills. So you can definitely use ChatGPT as an educational tool. You can say investing. No one should be getting investing advice from ChatGPT. However, I did have ChatGPT explain Robinhood to me. Like, I'm like, I want to use Robinhood. What is Robinhood exactly? Explain to me what Robinhood is. Excuse me. So I do use it to kind of help quickly explain things to me. Like, what does this mean? What does this tool do? What is this term? What does this term mean? Or else you could be, scrolling 20 pages of Google before you finally get an answer to something. So yeah, I definitely see it as an educational tool.
I was just gonna say too, like, I feel like this is such great information, Gina. Like, I think a common theme that we've been hearing so far, it's only been 2 days at Small Business Academy, right? But common theme is planning, right? Having a roadmap for business owners, right? And I think you did a really great job of kind of, we tell people, like, you have to plan, you have to have a marketing plan, like, how do you do it, right? And I'm a really big experiential learner, so like, I really enjoyed you walking us through it, then showing us how to use it, like really interactive, because that's kind of how things stick in. I think some big things that you said too, that I know when I'm working with business customers, they're really struggling. They're like, I don't even know what questions to ask. So even that, having those defining questions to think about as you're utilizing tools and resources like ChatGPT, it could be really impactful, especially for a small business owner just starting up. So I don't know if we have any more questions, Michael, but I just wanted to kind of say that part, because this was very informative. You did a really great job. Really like that interactive piece, and I'm sure we have a lot of experiential learners out there that probably were excited to see that part.
You just have to get in there and play with it and see what it does. And a lot of times I'll say, I wonder if ChatGPT can do this. And then I go in and I'm like, oh, I guess it can. And, I wonder if it can help me with this, and say, okay, well, I want to do this. And it'll say, oh, well, that's a great question. I'm like, you always tell me that's a great question. And I just play with it to see if it will help me do this and this. And so I have it build out stuff for me all the time, build out funding plans and funding strategies and all kinds of things for me. And you really can go down a rabbit hole with it. I felt like I was starting to go down a rabbit hole with the marketing strategy, and it can get very overwhelming. So that's why I wanted to pause and say, okay, just build out month one, build out an entire month one, and then once you're done, go back a month later and build out month two, but at least you have the outline. And then you can go back and say, okay, now let's build out month one. And then at the end of that, come back in a month and build out month two. But at least you have something in front of you that helps you feel organized, structured, and it's there, and you don't have to feel overwhelmed. Because a lot of the business owners I work with, they don't have the money to pay someone. And so I feel like that's what this session was about. It was about working with those business owners who don't have the money to pay anyone to give them that strategy. But if you sit down and do that, then you can it's there. And you don't have to work with all of the ideas. It'll give you 10 or 20, and then you pick the ones that make sense to you, that you feel like you could actually execute on. that are low cost that you can actually execute on, but at least you have the 20 ideas right there, and then you could pick the ones that you feel like you can execute on.
And I think one other thing too, I would just wanted like a quick plug-in, is you could even ask ChatGPT to respond to you in a different language, because I've used it before. I've seen other clients use it before in Spanish. And when you're just thinking about like learning new things and how to create a marketing plan, you want to do something in your own, in language, right? So that's another thing. I'm not sure if we have any Spanish speakers out there, primary first language or any other language, you can prompt it to do that.
Yes. Translation, I do that often too, where I'll see something in Spanish and I'm like, I don't know what this means, and you can't copy paste it. So you can screen capture things that are in one language, screen capture, upload the screen capture and say, translate this for me, and it'll translate it for you. You can do that. You can also tell it to transcribe it and put it in 10 languages if you want to. So yes, that's another one of those things. And then ChatGPT also has, you can just speak to it, and you don't have to even type. You can just use your phone and speak to it, and it'll actually have a conversation back and forth with you, and it saves it all. So when you talk to it, it transcribes it. So everything that you're saying, it gets saved also. So I didn't even have to type everything I said. I could have just talked to it and had it do all of that for me. So it's, what's the word we use? Accessibility, where you don't have to actually type anything, you still use it and it'll read everything back to you as well. So I like that feature in it. So, and that you don't have to pay extra for to use. I highly, highly, highly recommend people even just to have access to Sora, because the video, I have to have the AI tag added to the videos that I post because they're so realistic. So realistic. I've posted, I've run sponsored videos on our page of business owners, baking, Black-owned businesses, a catering business, a food truck, and they're so realistic that I had to add the AI tag to it, because you would never have known that they were AI videos. So you literally can create videos that you can't tell. So in that case, you do have to add the AI tag to them when you post them on Facebook. So get the Sora, if for nothing other than that. It's pretty simple to make.
Wow, great stuff, Gina. Thank you so much. Michael, do we have any more questions? Do we have time for one more, or how are we with time?
We are just about out of time.
Okay.
One other question we could take, and then we need to be done in just a couple minutes. Once you have a website and product ready to go and all of the proper certificates and licensing or anything else like that, how do you know if you should launch or hold off? Where's that go, no go time?
I always tell our business owners, just go, even if you don't have a website. I always go, just go. Do you need a website? You can use Facebook, or you don't even need it. I guess I'm wondering what's the reason for the question? I guess I need to follow up on that. What is the reason for that question? Is there some hesitation? Is there some fear? Do you feel like you shouldn't? Do you feel like you need to do all of that just to get going? Well, I guess what's the...
Thanks, Gina. Yeah, we don't have the additional context right now, but it sounds like you provided a lot of good fodder for additional thought. Are you able to be contacted at all, or is your organization able to be contacted following this session?
We focus primarily on the Rock County area. So if they want to contact us, we'll see what assistance we can provide, but we focus primarily on the Rock County area. However, we do partner with all organizations that provide technical assistance for small business owners throughout the state. So we can refer them to any other organization, SBDC, WIBIC, you folks, anybody who can provide technical assistance, whether it's us or not.
Thank you, Gina. With that, we're about out of time for this hour. That was an excellent set of information and provocative thoughts to further the businesses in attendance. Thank you, Vanessa, for moderating the session and for introducing Gina and the marketing strategies session. And we will have to close. If either of you'd like to say closing thoughts, and then we'll move into a short break here.
Oh, well, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you again to the WEDC, WPI, and everyone who joined. I always enjoy doing these sessions. I love teaching small business owners. So again, this session will be available after the Academy ends, correct, on the website for folks to go back and watch them. Correct, Michael?
Correct. I don't have a release schedule right now, but I believe that the recording will be available in the future.
And Michael has my slides already, so I don't know when you'll be able to get those, the slides from Michael. All right, thank you.
With that, thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Gina. And we'll close the 9 o'clock session. Everyone in the audience, this is the 2025 Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor's Small Business Academy. And don't go anywhere, because we have another session at 10 a.m. right here on this very same channel. Go get a cup of coffee, stretch your legs, and come right back. Thank you very much. See you in a few.